Mohammed, together with our
The over 1,000 early childhood development education teachers from 47 counties were in Nairobi for their first joint ECDE consultative meeting between the employer, the governors, and Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed. A consultative meeting that would see the teachers demand for a scheme of service to end what they claimed was discrimination. The teachers claiming that some of them have no job groups despite being on contract for years.
We need to know about the scheme of service. We don't want this case whereby County A is paying a degree holder, a certificate holder, a diploma holder, a flat rate of 10,000 shillings. We need a scheme of service. We need to know our job groups.
I have visited some ECD centers across the country, and I know for sure that some of those facilities are they're not good for our kids. They're not good for our children. They need to be improved, they need to be developed, and we need to pay much more attention to them.
Citing inadequate learning materials, deficient infrastructure, poor remuneration and delay in release of their pay, the ECDE teachers demanded the TSC takes over the employment of ECDE teachers while counties take care of policies.
Let us reorganize and relook our legislation, acts, and even the same constitution, so that we remove this employment of teachers and take it back to Teachers Service Commission.
One of the countries, Madam CS, degree holders, certificate and diploma are earning 15,000. Then there is a statutory deduction of 7,000 from the same salary. Meru County, are you there? Is that fair? 15,000 minus 7,000. How much money do you have? How do you pay rent? How do you pay the yayas, the maid?
This particular function was developed about 5 years ago, and as you know, resources follow function. Resourcing has not been very adequate in terms of what it is that we require at that level. In fact, what counties have done is to create some little stopgap measure in terms of funding to employ initial ECD teachers. We still have so many of them to employ. Because
Council of Governors, however, say lack of proper ECDE implementation and teachers' employment cannot be blamed on county governments but on national governments' inadequate funding.
What we have done jointly with these stakeholders is to develop a scheme of service which is very elaborate, which categorizes ECD teachers as those with certificates, diplomas and degrees. And each of them is placed into a particular category in terms of job group. So we are done. The only thing that we're negotiating with the national government is how to top up the financing.
Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed says the ministry has requested World Bank for funds to establish 4 ECDE centers for training ECDE teachers.
I have visited some ECD centers across the country, and I know for sure that some of those facilities they're not good for our kids. They're not good for our children. They need to be improved, they need to be developed, and we need to pay much more attention to them.
Bomet County Governor Joyce Laboso has in the meantime launched the first 79 ECDE classrooms in Phase 1 of the county's education reforms plan. The 79 ECDE schools will also be provided with textbooks.
These will be the materials that will be used to teach the ECD classrooms. By next year, we will be having our own branded.
Laboso says another 186 classrooms which had stalled are set to be constructed in the next phase, each costing 1 million shillings. The county government also plans to provide meals to ECDE learners.